Welcome back class 8 students. I'm your English grammar digital mentor and I'm back again with a new chapter which is chapter number 12 of your books, Modals. So open your books, pick up your pens and let's get started. We'll start with the starter part. Here, two pictures are given. We have to underline the modals to show the state in which an action is done. Let's start with the first picture. Here it is written that, may I come in, sir? So in this sentence, the modal is may. Let's see the second picture. Here it is written, you must labor hard to get success. In this sentence, the modal is must. So let's know more about modals in this chapter. So we'll start with part number A, which is the definition of modals. Verbs that are used to express the mood or attitude of the speaker are called modals. They are also called as modal auxiliaries. Modals are used to give advice, seek or give permission, make suggestion, make polite requests, give invitations, etc. The most common used modals are can, could, may, might, will, would, shall, should, must, ought to, need, dare. Now first, we'll talk about ability with which we can use can or could. We use can and can't to talk about someone's skill or general abilities. For example, he can speak English fluently. He can swim like a fish. Now we use can and can't to talk about the ability to do something at a specific time in present or future. For example, I can meet you. Help, she can't swim. We use could and couldn't to talk about the past. For example, he could speak English fluently. He couldn't dance at all. Now let's do some questions related to these concepts. Here we have to fill in the blanks with can or can't or could or couldn't. Let's see the first part. He is linguistic. He dash speak 5 languages. So here we can write he is linguistic. He can speak 5 languages. In the similar manner, you have to do rest of the parts of this exercise by yourself. Let's move on to the another topic, which is permission, for which we can use may, can and could. Now we use may to give or seek permission. For example, may I come in, sir? Here we are seeking permission. Now we can use can when we give someone permission to do something. For example, you can bring your best friend to the party if you want. We use could to say that something was permitted in the past. For example, many years ago, he could play well, but now he can't. And we use can't to say that something isn't permitted. For example, you can't park your car here. We use couldn't to say something, to say that something was not permitted in the past. For example, we couldn't cross the border without our passport. Now related to these concepts, let's do some questions. So in part number E, we have to fill in the blanks with can, could or may with the help of hints. Let's see the first part. Dash, I ask you a question. Here, we are informing someone. So we can use can here. So our statement will be, can I ask you a question? In the similar manner, you have to do rest of the parts of this exercise by yourself. Let's move on to the next topic of this chapter, which is part number F, certainty or intention, for which we can use shall, will, would. Let's start with shall. Shall is used in second and third person to express promise or threat or determination. For example, we shall receive a prize. We shall be fined for our wrongdoing. They shall obey you whether you like it or not. Now, will is used to express promise, threat or determination. For example, he will help you. They will do it. Shall is predominantly used with I and we and will with the rest of the pronouns. Would is used to express the likelihood or certainty that something was the case in the immediate past. For example, Alok, there was a man here just now asking about renting the spare room. That would be Manish. He just moved here from China. Now let's do some questions related to that. Here in part number G, we have to fill in the blanks with will or shall. Let's see the first part. Here, I dash go there whatever happens. With I or we use shall. So our sentence will be I shall go there whatever happens. In the similar manner, you have to do rest of the part of this exercise by yourself. Let's move on to the next part of this chapter, which is possibility, for which we can use may, might, could. Both may and might are used to suggest possibility, but might suggest a lesser possibility than may. Could is also possible in these sentences. For example, Meenu, where is your sister? Ravi, she might be sleeping. Krunal, she may be in her study room. Veena, she could be in her hostel. Now let's do some question in which we have to fill in the blanks with may, might or could. The first part says he dash be playing tennis. So here we have to show lesser possibility. For that we can use could. So our statement will be he could be playing tennis. In this way you have to do rest of the parts of this exercise by yourself. Let's move on to the next topic of this chapter, which is necessity or compulsion. For that we can use must, have to, have got to, had got to. We use must and have to say that it is necessary to do something. For example, you must work hard in order to pass the exam. Must indicates the speaker's personal feeling. Have to expresses some external compulsion. For example, you must do your homework well before you speak. So here I want to do that feeling is should. Must does not have a past tense form. So we can use must to talk about the present or future. For example, you must visit her now, which shows present part. But we can use have to with in all tenses. For example, you have to come tomorrow. It shows the future tense. We normally use do, does, did in questions and negative sentences. In negative sentences with have to. For example, do you have to get there daily? Sometimes we can use have got to in place of have to. For example, I have got to finish this project tomorrow. They have got to complete this bridge by next month. Now let's see suggestions, advice, duty, obligation. With that we can use should or ought to. We use should to make a suggestion or give advice. For example, you should obey your parents. Should is not as strong as must or have to. For example, you should obey the traffic rules. It suggests it is the right thing to do. Second statement is you must obey the traffic rules. Here it shows that it is necessary. So I advise you to do so. Third example is you have to obey the traffic rules while driving the road. Here it is a compulsion because that's a rule. Should have done suggests that it was a right thing to do but wasn't done. For example, it was a golden opportunity. You should have availed of the opportunity. Now let's do some question related to these concepts. So in this we have to fill in the blanks with modals of necessity or compulsion. Let's do second part of this exercise. You dash obey rules of a nation. So here to obey rules of a nation is a must. So we can write you must obey rules of a nation. In this manner, you have to do rest of the parts of this exercise by yourself. Let's see another question. Here we have to fill in the blanks with should or ought to. Let's see the first part of this exercise. We feel fairly sure you will enjoy the vacation. So we can write here you should enjoy the vacation. In the similar manner, you have to use should or ought to complete rest of the parts of this exercise. So these you have to do by yourself. Let's move on to the second topic of this chapter, which is part number N, promise, for which we can use will or shall. Will and shall are used to suggest promise or some kind of assurance. Will with I and we and shall with other subjects indicate the force of a promise. For example, I shall invite you for dinner. As it is now common to use will with all the subjects. Shall with I and we is not enough to suggest promise. We should say, I assure you, I'll invite you to my birthday party. We promise we'll come back within an hour. Now, next topic is request, for which we can use can, could, will, would. Can and could are used to make request. However, can and could are used differently. Can is used to make basic requests from a friend or co-worker. It is often used for small things. For example, can you pass the juice? Could has the same function. For example, we can say, could you pass the juice please? Would is used to make polite request in English. The structure is as follows. First, we write would you mind plus verb plus ing form. For example, would you mind closing the door? Would you mind turning down the radio? You can also say do you mind, but would you mind is more polite. For example, if we say do you mind turning off the music, or we can also say would you mind turning off the music. Would can also be used to make polite request with the verb like. For example, I would like some help with my math homework please. This is the same thing as using a verb want. However, would is more polite. For example, when we say I want a drink or I would like a drink, the second example is more polite. These types of requests are more common when ordering something. Take a look at these examples. I would like rice with my chicken. I would like another Coke please. Can and could are more usual than will and would. Now let's see the another topic, which is prohibition. For that we use mustn't, ought not to. Mustn't suggests prohibition. Ought not is like that of shouldn't. For example, you mustn't walk in the middle of the road in a busy street. It is prohibited. In another example, it is written, you ought not to make fun of the elderly people. So as a duty, you should not. It is not right to. Now our next topic is wish, for which we use may. May is normally used to express a wish. For example, may God bless you. May you live long. With this, we come to an end of this chapter. I hope you understood and enjoyed today's class. Practice as much as questions as you can, and if you have any doubt, you can ask your teacher. We'll meet in the next class with a new chapter. Till then, take care.